Okay, before I start getting angry comments from Italians, the introduction here was a joke. This is not an authentic Italian recipe. Some of my recipes are, but this isn't one of them. I created this to use in an Italian restaurant in Russia where veal is often impossible to get and menu items have to be made no matter what the shortages are. So I've got the shallots and the garlic that need to be minced. I'm not going to make you watch me do that. I assume if you're watching my videos you know how to do that. And what do you know? Poof, just like magic. Okay, into a pan that's being heated on medium heat. It's a 5 on 1 to 10. I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of olives and then just the shallots. We're going to start sweating these at a low heat, medium heat. And do a spice grinder. I put about 1.5 teaspoons of mixed peppercorns. I'll use this in a few minutes and grind this up. But we want it pretty fine. That looks good. Okay, I'll save this. Okay, it's been 3 or 4 minutes here. And in case you don't understand what a sweat is, and some people don't, it means you're not going to get any color on these vegetables, or onions, or shallots in this case. You want to cook them on a reasonably low temperature in fat until they become translucent, but you don't want to brown them at all. No golden color, no browning. They have to remain white, basically, just off-white because they've been cooked rather. Now I'm going to add that pepper that we ground up just a minute ago. Peppers, I should say, different kinds. Okay. And now this is the chicken and the beef. And if you read the footnotes in the annotations there, we would put veal in here normally. If we have it, we would add veal and we would stretch it with beef and chicken. In this case, I'm doing it entirely with beef and chicken, which will also work surprisingly well. Okay, now I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit and to 7 on 1 to 10 and start cooking this a little bit more fiercely. So when the pink has disappeared from the meat, we're going to add the garlic to it. And a couple of minutes later here, not even a couple of minutes, what am I saying, 30 seconds later or so, add the most unlikely ingredient you can probably imagine for this. This is so not Italian, but this is going to work, trust me. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Almost makes me cringe. I'm sure that there's Italians out there everywhere that are going, Mamma mia, no, no. Okay, I'm going to keep cooking this a couple more minutes. Okay, about 2 more minutes to pass. Now I'm going to add an ingredient called Pantelleria. It's a special liqueur wine from Italy. Actually, I think it's from Sicily. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in maybe a tablespoon or 2. You can use Vinsanto, which is easier to find, or you can use a French Sauterne if you want to. Those are the 3 choices, though. Beyond that, if you don't have any of those things, Pantelleria, Vinsanto, Sauterne, oh well, don't add anything. Nothing else will be good. Now it's just a matter of cooking it to get rid of the rest of the moisture in here. We just want a dry mixture. That's all we're trying to do. It's already cooked enough, but it's wet, and we can't have that wetness. So you've got to let it cook until it's dry. And 2 or 3 minutes later, when you can finally see the bottom of the pan with that pool of moisture, you can add those chopped chives and kill the heat, move the pan off the heat, stir it around, and let it cool down. And that's what we want at this point. Okay, while this is still hot, I'm going to transfer this into a food processor with 30 grams of breadcrumbs and somewhere around 15 grams of Parmesan cheese, freshly grated. You have to be exact. And we're going to process this. We'll let it run quite a while. We want it to be very homogeneous. We want to build it almost like it was a dough. And this is the consistency we want to end up with. Very fine grained. Very fine grained and almost pasty. This is going to be our stuffing. Now you might taste this and you might think, well, I think it's got too much pepper. Yeah, don't forget rather, when you're combining this with pasta or something else, that will absorb some of the spice from the pepper. Your final dish will not taste as strongly of pepper as this filling does right now. So don't let that worry you. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.